Well, I know your work as an evidence professor redounded to my advantage later because it's the reason I got to become a United States attorney here, is that one of your students was Orrin Hatch, and he so admired you and remembered you that it engendered his support at a time when there weren't a lot of Republicans supporting a lot of Democrats years down the line. Tell us a little bit. We'll double back and talk about some of your big cases, but can you just give the basic panorama of the firm's growth from a scrappy outfit of you and Dad to what became a fairly substantial going concern in the Pittsburgh legal constellation?
Yeah. So when we started, most of our cases came to us through this night office we had in Braddock. And people there got to knew Daddy because they knew the Littman family. And if someone had an accident, they'd bring them down to the office to see the lawyer, the Littman lawyer. And we had quite a few there for personal injury firms, personal injury cases that came to be prepared and had to be tried. And personal injury cases were the bulk of the cases that they tried at that time. It's not that way anymore in the state court system. So that there were lots of opportunities for me to go to court. In big firms, that wasn't true. Well, they didn't have any women in big firms, but it wasn't true for young lawyers because they didn't let people who hadn't cut their eye teeth on bigger things go into court that early. But early on, I was in practice 3 years, and I was the chief trial counsel of a law firm. Daddy and I both tried them at the beginning, but he filtered off into the business part of the law, and I did the trial parts. And fortunately for me, we prepared very, very thoroughly. We went to courses where they taught lawyers how to try cases, and we listened. And Daddy and I went and sat in court and listened when lawyers came into town to try cases that we heard were very good, so we could learn from them. And we freely stole their ideas when it came to trials. And so I was very lucky because I got the cases. I was the trial lawyer who tried them. And fortunately for me and for the practice, I got very good results, really good results. I used to have, in fact, just recently, at an event honoring one of the judges down in federal court, the person sitting next to me had been a law clerk, it turns out, when I was young at practice. And he told me that when he heard that I was trying a case, he used to get permission from the judge to come watch me try. I had no idea that I had anything like that. I did have some people who used to come.
I remember when you had closing arguments, the well would be peppered with lawyers who were coming to see you. When was the first...
I really learned to love it.
Yeah. When's the first time that you had as an adversary in that trial counsel another woman?
Another woman? Yeah. Oh, many, 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 many years later. When I was young in practice, this organization started the Academy of Trial Lawyers. I think it was 1957. And there were 36 lawyers, half plaintiffs, half defendants. I was the only woman in that group. And that was the active trial lawyers who were trying mostly personal injury cases. Oh, I didn't go back and tell you how we evolved, and I'll tell you that in a moment. But there just were not women who were trying cases. There was one woman who sometimes went to criminal court, but they just didn't have women trying cases. Before you asked me about the kind of cases our firm had, and so we had personal injury to start. But then, as the years went by, other kinds of cases came up, and we took them, we researched them, and we tried them. Some of them were in areas where people said you couldn't do it, but we did it. And so we branched out into antitrust, for example, which is very complicated.